In-house. We in the house. Peter Piker.
Well, today, we want to tell you the story of Rasheeda, BAGWELL, correctional
Alright, so we on. Now, we here today with Miss Rasheeda. Go ahead. Let's start off. Let's give them some backstory on yourself.
Okay, so my name is Rasheeda BAGWELL, and what I do here at Mural Arts in my office space, I am the program coordinator for the Women's Reentry Program, and I stepped up and I took over for a little while, and I started running the co-ed program as well. I play a very intricate role in that. What we do here is we help people that are returning back into society or have been impacted by the justice system, maybe because a loved one was incarcerated or still is. We pay them a wage of $15 an hour. And how I got here was when I came home 4 years ago, after serving time for a drug conviction, I couldn't find a job. When I would find jobs and they would find out about my record, they would let me go. So I came here one day just as a guest speaker to speak to the program participants. And then I decided that I wanted to volunteer. I volunteered for 6 months. Then I was offered the position to run the Women's Reentry Program, and that was August will be 2 years that I've been in my position as a paid coordinator, but 6 months prior to that, I was already working.
Wow. So you came home with a record, and like you said, it was hard. So no type of resources for real.
Not that I saw. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When I came home, everything that I was looking for that would benefit me as a woman, as a single mom, with a record, I couldn't find anything. Everything was for men. And it's not to take away anything, but I tell people all the time, it's kind of crazy to me how we have 22 correctional institutions in the state of Pennsylvania versus 2 for women. That's like really like, it's a big difference, but right. You don't see a lot of programs helping the women that are coming home.
Right.
So I wanted to be a part of changing that narrative. So I'm doing like everything in my power to go hard to get people to understand that the women need help too. Because at the end of the day, we're the backbones of the community. We're the ones raising the children. We're the ones, taking care of the household. So when we come home with a record, we need support. Right. So that's what I give the women that I service, the support that they need.
So let me ask you, a lot of people that I feel like a lot of these people that's in higher places, like they make the laws, they making laws but never been through it. You get what I'm saying? So, and it's like kind of like me trying to make laws for your house, and now I didn't put your 2 sons that fight all the time in the same room, and if they do fight, they get in trouble. You get what I'm saying? And so, like, what's some of the things, like some of the trials and tribulations you have to deal with getting from jail that like a lot of people don't know? Most people be like, "Oh, you out of jail? Go get a job."
It's funny you said that because this is a conversation that I find myself having a couple times a week. People have to keep in mind that just because a person is physically free, that's not the end of it. Mm-hmm. Your incarceration physically ends when you walk out, when they open those gates, when those doors pop. Physically, you're not incarcerated anymore. Mentally and emotionally, you are still caged. Mm. Because now you have this record that's attached to you for whatever reason, whatever it is that you did. It doesn't matter if you spent 2 months or 200 years in prison, you're affected. So the trials and the tribulations that you face is sitting down in front of somebody and talking to them and everything is going good. And then the minute they find out that you committed a crime, made a mistake or made a bad choice, their whole perspective, the whole view changes. Because I've had it happen. I've literally sat across from people in job interviews and they're all smiles when they're looking at my resume, because prior to me going away, I was a corrections officer at GRATERFORD. So I look great on paper. But you face discrimination, you face bias. I think that a lot of times women have it harder in certain situations because a lot of the jobs that are offered second chance are labor jobs. Or you have to be at the job at 5 o'clock in the morning. You got to get up and leave at 3:30 because you got to go always to another county. If you're a single mom and you have children in school, that means nothing. And they don't care.
Right.
They don't care. Like, so that's why, again, I go as hard as I do because I want the people, the women and the men coming home to understand they're not going to give you anything out here. You have to come home and take what you want. But now, instead of taking what you want and going at your money or going at however you used to get it, you have to change that hustle and turn it to a legit way. You gotta hustle legit now and take what you want. And I feel like that's what I did. All the doors got closed on me. I'm like, all right, I'm coming in the back door. You put a lock on the back door, I'm coming through your window. You close that window, down the chimney. Like, I'm going to get in there. So I decided, like, I was going to stop asking for what it was that I wanted and show people why I was supposed to have it.
Right. That's deep, like inspiring. That was one of the reasons why I had the interview, because even when I talked to you last time at
Lockdown Love,
I couldn't, I didn't get too deep into it, and I feel like these type, if you see a lot of my content, most of the people that I choose to interview, they have some type of background, and I be wanting to show other people, because most of us that like, if you're not mentally strong when you come out of jail, it's because it's like, you think about, you got a detox when you come out of jail, because all your friends was in the street, all you knew was, the street stuff. So a lot of us don't, like, see, like, so now I feel like, if people start seeing people like you who was, was in the street, man, look, she got a good job, stuff like that. But a lot of other people, when they get released from jail, if you think it's not no real career you could get. Right. It's only jobs. Like, it's nothing like where you could even start at the bottom and go up.
It was a little different for me because street all day. Like, I'm in the streets. I was in the streets like 2 white lines. But on the flip side of that, it was kind of like I had like a double life. Because I always kept a good job. Like, ever since I finished high school. Like, my first job out of high school, I worked for the city of Philadelphia. I went to nursing school. I got all the way up to my clinicals before it was time for me to get my LPN. Like I said, I was a corrections officer. I went to school for medical billing. I've done a little bit of everything. But at the same time, I was always doing me. So when I came home, I think it was that much harder for me because it was like, you can't do both no more. And that was all I knew. It was both. I was both. Like, when I was young, even when I was younger, I was more street, but I always had legit money. Right. So now that I'm like, okay, I'm home now. Now it has to be all legit money because I can't afford to go back. I can't leave my kids out here again. I have 3 children. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Now, even that, when you went to jail, how old was your children?
My son was 17.
That was the one that you met. That was the youngest one, right?
No, that's my oldest.
Okay.
But he's almost 22 now.
He was 17 at the time?
He was 17. Okay. He's about to be 22 now. And then my daughter's...
He in college and stuff?
My son actually works for this organization as well.
Okay.
My son works for Mural Arts. He's on the rec crew. So what he does is he goes through the city of Philadelphia and he's helping rehabilitate rec centers for the children, the pools, the walls, and things like that. So yes, he is in an organization with me, and he's also training to run his own podcast down at Rec Philly, in the gallery. So proud of him, like super proud of him, because I have a criminal background. His father is currently serving a life sentence. He went the opposite of his parents.
Right.
Like, and I tell people all the time, if I had to do it all over again to make sure that he never does or my daughters don't, I would.
Right.
I would do it again because I feel like I went through everything that I went through so that I could be a real life testimony for my kids. Like, I don't need to tell them, look what happened to such and such, or look at this movie or read this. Remember when mommy left and I was gone? That's what you don't want. You know what I mean? Like, that's enough. That's definitely enough to me.
So, like, all right, for the one, so if somebody watching this right now, right, that just came home and they like, no, man, if they basically saying, like, what would be the advice you'll give somebody that just came home? They fresh out, they still got the orange bag with them. Right
Oh
now.
man.
What would you tell them?
The orange one, the white one, they got browns or blues on anything. Because whether it's the county, the feds, state, I would tell them, first of all, be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. And don't allow anybody to tell you that you can't do whatever. Nobody could have told me when I walked out of there 4 years ago that I would be the coordinator for a nationally known organization running a re-entry program. Like, it's insane to me. So what I would tell them is just do you. Hustle. Hustle, hustle, hustle.
The positive
grind.
way.
The positive way. And that's how I was going to end it. If you're a hustler, it's always in you. Even if you, whatever you did, if you went to prison for a violent crime, okay, use that to your advantage. Use being a felon to your advantage like I did. Start speaking to people. Sometimes you might have to work a little bit for free. You know what I mean? You got to get your feet wet. But go around and talk to people and tell your story. I'm a big believer in if you tell your story before anybody else can, you control. You control the narrative. Nobody can embarrass me. Nobody can come at me. Nobody can say anything to me about what I did because I did what I did and I stand on it.
Right.
I went into prison as a corrections officer working and I started a drug ring. Like, but if I had not done that, I wouldn't be able to be sitting here now, you know, talking to people, trying to tell them what to do and what not to do.
So, all right. Now, well, for the ones that don't know, all right, let me